Hi friends, welcome to Easy House. Today we'll be understanding more about index funds and ETFs and why you should be investing in them. You would have faced a dilemma that as some of your friends are investing in index funds, or your advisors must be telling you should be investing into index funds as well as compared to mutual funds. So we'll understand the difference between index funds and mutual funds and see what suits you better and what should be your strategy in investing in index funds and ETFs. So before I start, I would like to tell you that please subscribe to our channel, right? That motivates us to make more videos, and please share a video with your friends. So let's start with what are index funds. As the name suggests, index funds basically track the returns of the index, right? So it's a basket which is tracking the index. By index, it can be the S&P 500, it can be the Nifty, it can be the Sensex, right? So it's basically its main objective is to give the same returns as the index is giving. So to understand the difference between index funds and mutual funds, we need to understand difference between active investing and passive investing. There are two school of thoughts. So passive investing believes in efficient market theories. It means that no matter what information you have, a fund manager can never generate alpha and he can never beat the market. And no matter what information a person has or an individual has, whatever information he has is always reflected in the share price. So no matter what you have, the share price is already reflecting it. So you can never beat the market according to this. The other school of thought is that there are deviations from efficient market theories, and that's why fund managers in the past have been consistently beating the market. And you can't explain markets falling down 10 and 20%, 15% in a day, because if all the information was already there, the share prices will not react so violently. A group believes that markets can be beaten by research or having information, right? And if you're in markets which are not very developed, then you can probably beat the market. Now, is there any empirical study which has been done which proves any of these claims? So the study, there's a study which is done by Morningstar. It was done from funds from 2009 to 2019, and what they saw in the study was 23% of the fund managers are the only ones who are able to beat the index on a consistent basis. And it also shows a very important thing, that efficient markets and well-developed markets in countries like the US, it is more difficult to beat the index. And in countries which are emerging countries and in bond funds, it is easier to, more fund managers have beaten the index. Now coming back to India, right? India is not as efficient a market or not as big as a market as the US. And hence, as per the results, it is possible in India, more fund managers have actually beaten the market and have been beating it. So now let's look at what do you learn from this? So considering this, India is an emerging market and the markets are not efficient. So if you select your funds nicely and correctly with the help of an advisor and doing some good research, you would be able to choose funds which will be beating the index. But now let's look at what is the benefit of actually invest in the index fund. Index funds, they have many advantages. So the first advantage which comes to your mind is there is no active management. They're passively management. So fund manager doesn't have to do anything, and a beginner or even a shrewd investor who wants to mirror the returns of the index can just simply buy a mutual index fund, and a mutual fund which tracks the index, and get a good broad diversification right through it, and he'll have exposure to all the sectors. And another benefit, a big benefit, is because since he's tracking something like the Sensex or the Nifty, his exposure to high performing companies, good performing companies in India is always there. And over a period of time, companies which will not do well will automatically move out from the Nifty and the Sensex. Like for example, Yes Bank has moved out and Shree Cement has come in. So it'll automatically weed out companies which are not doing well, and he'll always be, investing in companies which are, doing well. And secondly is, the index gives maximum weightage to companies which have a higher market cap, right? So like a HDFC Reliance has a higher weightage in the index, and he would also, right? He would also be tracking the index in the same proportion. So his exposure to big companies and safer companies would be better, right? So this is a very big advantage, and we can look at the second advantage, which is, it is very cost effective, right? So a generally actively managed fund has a expense ratio of 1 to 2%, which a fund manager charges for managing the fund. This is not there in index funds, so you actually get this benefit of 1 or 2%. In fact, the charges over here are like 0.1%, and so this becomes, it's very helpful. And and an investor doesn't need much time and effort and expertise to actually, invest in an index fund, and he can generate, a good diversified portfolio just by investing in, in index funds and ETFs. So he gets a good diversification, they're low cost. Now, we should also consider one more thing is we should compare the difference between ETFs and index funds, right? So in India, we have index funds and we have ETFs. Probably 2 3 years back, ETFs were not so popular. Index funds were relatively new as well. But index funds, because people could buy them without holding a brokerage account. So you don't need a brokerage account or a demat to, hold a index fund. But if you want to buy ETFs, you need to have a demat account. So there's a brokerage charge which is associated each time you buy a ETF. Second thing is, ETFs, are actively traded on the stock market. So you can buy it on the stock market just like any other share, right? And then an index fund is more like a mutual fund, right? And you basically get the NAV, which is the end of the day's NAV, provided you buy it before the cutoff time. So so if you have a ETF and the market is going down, you can make that 1% extra or 2% extra because you'll be buying or selling based on what the market is doing. So, but if you're a long-term investor, that should not matter, right? But still, that advantage is there with ETFs. Another thing is, because if you're looking at investing through a SIP route, ETFs do not provide SIP, right? But in the index for funds, you can actually start a SIP just like any regular mutual fund and take the benefit. Now, considering how should you select which ETFs or index funds to buy, and should be they part of your portfolio? And the big question is, should they be a part of your portfolio, right? So, you can buy any index fund or any ETF. But in ETFs, you should be very careful as to the size of the ETF, right? Because ETFs are not very they have low liquidity because people in India have just started investing in them. So you should look at big ETFs whose sizes are big, right? So SBI and UTI have very big ETFs, both for the Nifty and the Sensex. So depending if you want to look which company you want to look at the size as well. And a second more important criteria is tracking error, because on a daily basis, they're supposed to track the markets, the index, right? So in a day, a Nifty will go up, the Nifty will come down, or Sensex will go up, Sensex will go down. It becomes, whenever the fund manager tracks it, there is a error which happens because you cannot track it perfectly. So you should buy the funds which has the least tracking error. Now, what should be your strategy? Should you be buying actively managed mutual funds or index funds? I think you don't need to make that decision, right? So if you have that belief, I believe you should not have that option to choose both. You can hold both the investments, right? So you can have an index fund as well, and you can have actively managed funds. Especially since SEBI came up with these rules that the large cap companies will be investing in top 100 market cap companies, index funds more or less, are very similar to a large cap fund, because here the Nifty is investing into top 100 companies, and a large cap will be investing into top 100 companies, and they will not be having that additional expense ratio of 1 to 2%. So if your fund, if in your portfolio you're holding 2 or 3 large caps, I'll suggest that one of them should be an index fund and the other one should be like an actively managed fund. So you should divide your money, one in an index fund and probably 1 or 2 in an actively managed funds. Coming to multi caps, and if should you be investing in multi caps or index funds? I don't think so. You should. Multi cap is bought with the intent that you believe in the fund manager's ability to generate alpha. By alpha, I mean his ability to beat the market consistently and by a good margin. So there is actually no comparison between index funds and alpha and multi cap funds. So if you do not replace your index funds with substitute them for a multi cap or a small cap or a mid cap funds, because those are meant to generate you that alpha, right? And you believe in the fund manager's ability that he would be doing that. So the suggestion that if you have large cap funds, you should probably have some exposure into large caps through index funds. Now, considering India, again, I like to mention in India, there is a belief that you should be generating, it will be easier because markets are not efficient to generate alpha. And which is true, but probably things might change in another 7 to 8 years time when markets develop more going forward. So this should be your strategy, and I hope if you liked our video, and I'll request you to please share the video and subscribe to our channel to give you more, insights into funds and what strategy you should be following to make a well-rounded portfolio. Thank you.